What's going on, ladies and gents? Jack here. Thank you for joining.
And I'm Poppy.
Hello, Poppy. Sorry, my mic is being weird. I'm sure you guys all got feedback. Sorry about that. If we sound slightly out of it, we might have been up hanging out with friends, wink, last night.
We never would. I think I haven't had this like husky of a voice in I may or may not have been like scream orgasming for a majority of the night last night. Whoopsie doodles.
What? You
Sorry,
never
everyone.
would. We also might be slightly dehydrated.
hmm
Um, if you guys don't know, Poppy and I are not drinkers. Like, we don't do the alcohol thing. But it's still easy to get dehydrated when you're having
Quite.
fun. So we might not have quite done that well enough, but it was still a great night. We will tell you about it very soon in one of our stories, and we are happy to be here with you today.
Have we also talked about how I'm a squirter?
I don't know, have we?
Oh, that's my other way of being dehydrated, unfortunately. And fortunately.
Yes, quite fortunately. I think we talked about that a little bit in a
Well,
past episode that you had not uh, squirted up until a couple of years ago, and now you're extremely good at it.
yes, well,
But yes, hence the dehydration issue.
oops.
But we'll rehydrate today and catch up.
Quite.
So what do we have on the docket for things that we wanted to talk about today, love?
The most important and most obvious thing I think on our list is we need to speak about Jimothy and Harambe.
Not what I was gonna guess, but sure, okay. What
Okay,
is this like a sex dream thing that you had,
no,
or
no. I think that we got off the wrong timeline when people killed Harambe, and Jimothy is bringing us back to the right timeline. It just
okay?
feels better
I
now that
mean,
Jimothy has surfaced.
I can't deny that things, universally speaking, have been suboptimal
Quite.
ever since right around the Harambe time, which some of our younger listeners might not even know who that is, I suppose.
I feel
But
like they should be old enough to know who Harambe is if they're listening to this.
when was that
That's
now?
like probably like 10, 15 years ago.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like you listen to a song, you're like, oh, that came out like 2 years ago,
Yeah,
and
and
then you
it's like
look it up, and it
30.
was, yeah, exactly. How long ago was Harambe?
I don't know.
I need
Are we
I need
gonna
to find
Google it?
that. We don't have a an assistant to help us with research questions, so bear with me.
um, but if you don't know who Jimothy is, he is a short-spined raccoon who's currently
Hmm.
living in the Ballard section of Seattle. And he is an incredible enlightenment for our time, I believe.
That's quite the word for it, and I do in fact have the information for you, which I know all of our listeners, all 20 of them, are on the edge of their seats, riveted to find out. Apparently, do you want to take a guess when Harambe
Fuck, I don't
departed
know.
this world?
Hold on. Let me think. What was I doing in my life? I think it was 2014, 15, or 16.
It was May 28th, 2016.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
right. Well
yeah.
played.
Yeah.
So yeah, 20 years ago. So some of our listeners might not know
It
what the
wasn't
crap
20
we're.
years ago. It was 10 years ago.
Good Lord. Wow. I told you I'm in a fog. Jeez.
We're
I
dehydrated
swear I
and
know
did
math.
not sleep.
Yeah. The funny thing is we weren't even up that
I
late. I
know.
don't know. It's just been,
It's been a weird one.
but in a
Anyway,
good way.
we have some other super fun things to talk about
Have we
today
have
with
we
you.
covered
I mean,
Jimothy and Harambe
listen,
at length?
if anyone wants to send us Jimothy paraphernalia, I will wear it.
Honestly.
I will change my entire inside of my house to be Jimothy themed. He's just the best.
Didn't Roku have Jimothy on
Yes,
their
he did.
background screensaver? And you were
Yes.
enraged when it disappeared?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I have been watching and watching, waiting for Jimothy to return, and they've taken him away from me, and it's not
Hence
okay.
hence why you need Jimothy paraphernalia.
Yes.
Fair. Anyway, I feel like a lot of our segments are either, serious or like more explicitly sexy. And this was just complete chaos, which is probably
Listen,
the secret third thing
it
when it
is
comes to our segments.
it's a secret third thing, but it's also just like our general life.
Vibe. Quite.
Like,
You're not wrong.
okay, we have one more important thing to talk about.
Okay, what's that?
What's the recurring segment that we do where
The celebrity one?
yes, because
Oh,
I
yes.
have one for you.
Okay.
I have actually two for you.
All right, hang on, hang on. What was the Okay,
He has
official
he
title. I
has to
have to get
say it.
this
He
right.
has to do the official title because it's long.
The recurring segment being If you met this public figure at a play event, would you want to get to know them and potentially play with them if everyone involved was open and enthusiastically consenting? Catchy. It's a very catchy segment title.
Okay.
So you said you had
I
one,
have
right?
two. I have two.
Okay.
I have two. Can I give
Okay.
them both to you?
Yes, are they a
Do you
package deal?
no, they're definitely not a package deal. Would
Interesting.
you like the tongue-in-cheek one first or the real one?
Let's go tongue in cheek first.
Mitch McConnell.
Oh Lord. Really?
Mitch
Really?
McConnell pre-fake death.
I was gonna say he's been dead for like 2 months, hasn't he?
Yes.
So now definitely not. And 2 months ago, definitely not.
So it makes it better that he's dead now.
Honestly, yeah, because he's not talking.
Okay, here's the
Am I
real.
wrong?
No, you're not wrong, and I agree. The real one was Erling Haaland.
Oh yeah, the soccer dude.
Yes,
Yes,
and I know
the
you're like not even a sliver of bi or gay, but
okay, but wait. I wasn't until you brought that up.
I know
But
it was a good one.
yeah,
This is
no.
a confusing one, isn't it?
So listen, not gonna do stuff to his bits personally, but I'm fine with him being in the vicinity with you or whoever doing stuff because he
I
seems like an awesome dude and very like sweet, respectful
Yeah.
to people, like the way that he treats
Yeah,
human
he's a good
beings. He
person.
seems like a really good person.
Okay, I
I
accept
don't
that.
think he is open or kinky that I know of,
I
but
mean,
have you seen anything
I
that would
feel
indicate
like
that he is?
that whole culture is just chiller than us. Like
True,
they
yeah. I've
they
heard I could be wrong. I have heard like the Norse
yeah.
Scandinavian region tends to be pretty chill about sex.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know if that's like a rumor or if that's actually accurate. If any of our listeners have any personal experience traveling to or having friends or etc. from that part of the world, let us know what the culture is when it comes to sex.
Yeah. I would love to visit there.
No,
That's on our
100%.
list. That's on our
Absolutely.
list.
I actually have been a little bit, but I want to go back. And I think that was many years ago
Yeah.
before we were together. So we need to do that
Yeah,
together.
we definitely do. We'll let you guys know when we we will come back to this segment.
Quite. Okay, so moving on to something slightly more serious. This is actually a question that we've gotten versions of from quite a few of our supporters, especially on Patreon and Substack, which shout out to you guys. You are the real MVPs, as the youth say.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you guys. Of course, we appreciate all of you who are listeners or supporters in any capacity, free or otherwise, but we especially appreciate those of you guys who are chipping in a couple of bucks per month and kind of helping us find the time to keep doing this and pay a couple of bills or at least a cup of coffee on the way. So thank you, truly.
Can we talk about the notification we got this morning?
Which one?
The one where we got 100 subscribers.
Oh yeah, on Substack, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
That was the free subscribers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were boning.
Sounds like something we would do.
And for whatever reason, we grabbed a phone and Jack had his little notification pop up and showed it to me. It was really sweet.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Like
Yeah.
I said, we do very much appreciate you free subscribers as well. And thank you to those of you who can find a couple of bucks to chip in for the paid subscriptions also. But anyway, so we've had a number of people ask questions kind of along these lines and phrasing it in different ways and different variations of it, but kind of twofold. One being whether we are kinky in any capacity when it's just the two of us, or if our kind of kink of choice is some form of group play.
Sure.
And then I guess kind of semi-related part two is, were we kinky in any capacity before we met each other? Or was that just something that developed in our relationship specifically? You want to take that one?
Yeah, like I think I think I knew I was kinky before I knew I was queer.
Okay.
Yeah, like
In
I
what
didn't
way?
I didn't realize that I was bi or pan or however you want to term it until I was in my 30s, because it was just very confusing to me up until then.
And I guess very frowned upon by a lot of the people that were around you in your culture.
Which we will talk about at some point.
Yes.
We have a whole segment planned
about
for
our religious backgrounds, etc. Yes.
Yeah. But when I was like 12 or 13, there was this is dating me a little bit, but there was a show on MTV that kind of like looked at different alternative
On
lifestyles on
MTV.
MTV.
Okay, this wasn't like one of the HBO or Stars or
No,
whatever type
no,
shows.
not one of
Interesting.
the dirty porn
Okay. So this
shows.
was this was like a PG
Yes.
related, and this was like nonfiction, like a
Yeah.
documentary.
Yeah, it was like a
Okay.
documentary show. I don't remember what it was called. I wish I could find it again, but they were highlighting hook suspension, and
Okay.
it's
That's intense.
yeah, and I was like, as this 13-year-old kid, immediately like, "Oh my god, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I want that. I want to do
Not
that."
the reaction that every kid would
No.
have, I'm
And
sure.
and
Yeah.
I think I said something to that effect to my parents, and they were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's not cool to share with family members.
Not a
Interesting."
great response when a kid
No.
expresses interest or
Yeah.
curiosity in something either.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bummer,
But
to say the least.
yeah, that but it was something that I always had in the back of my head of, maybe I'm not like totally normal in terms of what I'm attracted to. And then as I
Yeah.
was uh
And normal not being the word that we would use now,
right,
but what it
no, not
felt
at
like
all.
to you
Yeah,
then.
as a
Yeah.
kid.
That you thought that meant there was something wrong with you,
Yep.
or yeah.
So then as I started to explore sexuality, it was always something that was kind of something I wondered about, but in all of my past relationships, and I'm not really sure that I want to get into super specifics about them. Maybe at some point we will, but not right now. I don't think it was ever something that was really explored to the full
Hmm.
extent of how we do it now.
Sure.
But
It's a
since
compatibility
yeah,
thing.
it
Like,
definitely is a compatibility thing, and
even when it
I
was, in some cases, a decent person, in some cases,
correct,
not quite so much, but
correct,
some people just aren't
yeah.
wired that way.
It never really felt safe for me to be in a full-on DS relationship with
Hmm.
kink dynamics
Hmm.
before this one. And
Mm.
so now it's something that like I will remember I have a kink, or like just in like watching porn or seeing something on TV, and I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I did that was something I was interested in." I can bring it to Jack and be like, "Hey, I'm like, let's maybe you want to do this to me, or can we
Fair enough.
negotiate a scene perhaps?"
I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's been plenty of times where Poppy has, I hope I'm not overstepping by
Mm.
stating this, but has been hesitant
Yeah.
because she wondered if I would
Yes.
judge her, or like, even if I didn't say anything obnoxious, that I was in the back of my mind thinking less of her for
Hmm.
being interested, or even just
Yeah.
curious about something. Like, maybe you don't want to explore it, but you'd like to play with some
Yeah.
soft versions of
Yeah. Yeah.
something
Yeah.
and see if it feels good to you. Um, and I think I can honestly say that that has never been the case. And that does not mean that we always have
Right.
100% identical kinks by any
No, not at
means.
all.
There's certainly plenty of
Yeah.
overlap. We have a lot that are
Yeah.
overlapping, but there's always times where, what's the Jack Black song? Like, it's
I
not
it's not my favorite, but I'll do it for you.
sure. And then sometimes, like, rare, but there's occasions where
Yeah.
we're like, I'm sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
not wired that way, and it wouldn't be fair to either of us
Yes.
to. But that's
Yeah.
rare.
No,
It's
it's yeah.
yeah,
I think the main one for that has been CNC.
yes.
And now that I'm more in like a healthier mental space and a healthier relationship with Jack, I don't know that I really feel like I need to explore that as much.
Hmm.
But that was always something that was interesting to me just based on my background, and that we will
Yes,
get into at some point. But it's a way to kind of take control and autonomy back
because
in
you're choosing.
yes,
Yes.
you're choosing to have, I guess we didn't, maybe people don't know what CNC is.
You want
Yeah, so it's consensual non-consent.
to? Hmm.
So you're negotiating a scene where you are acting powerless and your partner is doing things that you
Hmm.
maybe have had done to you in the past, and you didn't have that
Hmm.
negotiation ability before. So you're able to kind of take autonomy and power back in those situations. Um, so that's one thing. The other thing that I'm more interested in, which kind of goes along with the hook suspension, I'm more of like a medical play type
Hmm.
kink person. And Jack is just like not interested in watching me put a bunch of needles in
It
places.
yeah, I mean, it depends on what type of medical
Yeah,
play.
yeah,
Like, I don't mind needles at all. I've donated blood tons of times
yeah,
and had plenty of, like, IVs and stuff like that. Needles don't bother me in that sense, but I don't love the idea of them in a sexual
yeah,
context, I guess.
yeah,
So that's the one that I would say is quite as hard of a limit for me as some of the others.
yeah,
I think if it was like something that you truly needed, I could probably find a way to
yeah.
get there,
Which
but
it's not.
it never felt like it
Yeah,
was that important to
yeah,
you. And if
no,
I'm wrong on that, then I would want to
no.
Um, and the interesting thing about CNC is if obviously you guys can do more of your own research on it if you want, but it tends to be one of the more intense kinks, and I
Yeah.
would never imply that people who are consenting and enjoying a CNC dynamic in a healthy and informed way, like I'm never going to judge them for that, and I think it can be a very powerfully like beautiful way to
Mhm.
heal some stuff. Um, and although for me personally, that is something that I do not want to explore. For me, even pretending to
Yeah.
hurt my soulmate, my partner, even just as basically we're acting out a scene,
Yeah.
is not something that appeals to me. Um, but that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy pretty damn rough sex upon
Oh, yeah.
occasion, but it's a different vibe than her being scared of me.
No.
That's what's different is if
Yeah.
she is there meeting me or enthusiastically enjoying,
Yeah.
but that's different from pretending to be terrified and not wanting it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't want to even pretend, although I completely respect people who find that that pretense is enjoyable
Mhm.
or helpful for them,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
We had some pretty energetic, violent-ish sex last night.
We tend to be pretty energetic, for lack of a better word. But yeah, like from my perspective, I think it was pretty similar in concept to what Poppy is talking about, but slight differences in terms of like the types of kinks that
Mhm.
appeal to me. So it's kind of been interesting since Poppy and I met, realizing how much was kind of ingrained into me that I
Yeah.
had kind of,
Suppressed.
yeah, suppressed or pretended that wasn't there and
Mhm.
almost forgotten about
Mhm.
or forced myself to ignore because it never seemed like something that I would have the opportunity
Yeah.
to explore until I fell in love with someone who is equally caring about my pleasure and what feels good to me and what is healthy and necessary for my hardwiring, as I am for
Yeah.
her. Um, so for me, and I think for both of us, but maybe especially for me, although I don't know if you would 100% agree with that, group play or
Yeah.
exhibitionist play is very high on the list of the kinks that I personally
Mhm.
enjoy. And I think also very high for Poppy, but maybe slightly, like maybe tied with some other ones
Yeah.
more than for me. Um, whereas for me, like I would enjoy the other kinks, but they would probably fall a little bit lower. So, for example, like bondage
Mhm.
or impact play are
Mhm.
also things that I very much enjoy, but probably slightly lower on the list. And I think maybe you would put them pretty close,
Yeah.
just for like one
I
example.
mean, the impact play, especially when we're like putting on a show at one of our clubs
Hmm.
for that kind of
Yes,
scene,
where
which,
people are watching
yeah,
us do an impact scene.
that's like
Yes,
one of my favorite things that we do
which is blending the
because, yeah,
exhibitionism for sure.
uh, he, so Jack is extremely skilled in impact play scenes, and
Thank you, babe.
I just love like getting to make eye contact with somebody while I'm having a scene performed and they are just like sweating in their seats. Like it makes
What?
me so happy
We
just
would
to like,
never do
yeah,
that to people.
just like looking around the room at the 100 people that are sitting watching us doing this,
I
you know?
think depending on the orientation of the specific person watching, it might be you making them do the sweating, if I'm
Yep.
not
Yep.
mistaken. Um, so yeah, it really has been kind of a gradual process. We were both wired to be kinky before we knew each other, but had very limited opportunity to explore it. And that was not the only thing, or I would say even one of the first things that we knew that we had in common when
Hmm.
we met each other, but it very quickly became apparent and was incredible to discover once we knew that that was the case.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I know that was kind of a roundabout way of saying it, but yes, we are very kinky in many other ways besides just the group play.
Hmm.
And yes, we were kinky before we found each other, but have had the opportunity through the love of an incredible spouse
Mm.
who's not judging or presupposing in a
Mm.
hurtful manner things about me when I express things that I'm interested in or wonder about, and vice versa. So it has been a much more beautiful exploration since we found each other
Oh.
from that point.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too. As we kind of hinted at, guys, I guess more than hinted, we've talked pretty explicitly about we both come from a very like conservative Christian background.
Correct.
We still consider ourselves Christian,
Correct.
but there's certainly plenty of the, MAGA, aggressively
Yeah.
judgmental type Christianity that would have no use for anything about what we believe the Bible actually teaches.
Yeah.
Um, I have personally spent many, many, many years studying what the Bible actually says, not what humans have added to the Bible over the
Mm-hmm.
years, mistranslated, taken out of context,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Because if there's one thing that I want, it's to be intellectually consistent. I have no patience for hypocrisy. I have no patience for actions not matching words. And I want to understand if the way that I am wired is compatible with the faith that I was brought up with. And I firmly believe that it is compatible with the actual teachings of Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
but not with the way that they have been twisted in a
Yes.
lot of modern cultures and modern churches that, through ignorance or malice, are saying things that are not actually in the Bible.
Yeah.
We will get much, much more in
Yeah.
depth on that. We can recommend a lot of the books and other teachers that we have learned a lot from. And that's honestly one of the reasons that we started the Patreon, the Substack, this podcast, etc., was to help people who come from that background of really conservative, evangelical, etc., recognize that you are not alone and there is nothing wrong with you. You are not a hypocrite if you are trying to find a way to make your faith and your sexuality compatible, because I believe God made you that way and there is nothing wrong with you for being who you are.
Yeah. Agree. I think it's also just like the way that modern American Christianity has kind of thrown out the social justice Jesus. Like
Mm.
that is
Which was a
how
big part of his entire
that's
message.
his entire message.
Yeah.
And they just kind of like, threw out that entire way of being and interacting with others. And that is what I base my Christian faith on now,
Yes.
which is basically what Jack was saying earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yes, that is of course a very brief glimpse into our thoughts and our background on that. We are honestly wanting that to be kind of a recurring segment as well, as we kind of delve into different aspects of our faith journey, and the fact that at this point I feel a true sense of peace, that I don't feel a conflict between the two. And of course, there are people who come from that conservative, evangelical, flawed background, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word, who would say, well, that just means that you've silenced your conscience and you just
Yeah.
wanted a license to sin. And there is nothing that could be further from the truth. And if you say that, that means that you are completely ignorant about what made me start to take a closer look at my faith
Yeah.
and the truth of what it teaches in the first place. And to be honest, although my sexuality is a big part of who I am, it was only one small piece of what made me want to look more closely at what Jesus actually taught. And that's related to what I'm saying.
Yeah. We have so many things to say about this whole topic.
Yes.
It needs to be like a 20-part series.
That's
I think.
why we're breaking it up, because we
Yeah.
don't want each podcast episode to be incredibly dense and serious. We want to express all sides of who we are and have some fun with it, and
Yeah.
then get into some deeper topics as well.
Yeah.
So bear with us. We will continue to get to it. And please do continue to send questions and comments that you would like us to delve into more deeply as we try to customize this podcast and everything that we write on Substack and Patreon and etc. to be as helpful as we possibly can make it.
Yeah. Agree.
So let's maybe fit one more segment in.
Yeah.
I think we've got time.
Yeah.
What did you want to talk about?
I think we've also had a couple of people asking about like how do you find clubs and parties, and also what are we looking for to make sure that these are safe places for us to be.
Like
so
green flags,
green flags, red
okay.
flags.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the main place that we have found clubs and parties, fortunately or unfortunately, is online at this point.
I mean, that's inevitable.
yeah.
You kind of do research about what exists, especially because we travel a lot.
We
so
do travel a lot.
We're not just in one place.
Yeah.
So finding what's available in a city that we're not familiar with.
Yeah. I think it kind of used to be like, who knows this person? Who knows this person? And it was more of like a community type thing. But
I was gonna say it's interesting because I feel like within clubs
Yes.
and bigger parties, that's how we get to know the
Yep.
people that we click with. Because if
Mm-hmm.
somebody that we're a good friend with or
Mm-hmm.
have had close experiences with is like, hey, you would really get along
Yes.
well with these people, that means a lot
Yeah.
because we take our community
Yeah.
seriously. And if somebody that we trust says, hey, you this is a safe person,
Yep.
that goes a long way in our
Yep.
book.
Yeah, so I guess it just depends if you're in a space that probably like a lot of the places around this country or around the world may or may not have a whole lot of options. Um
Unfortunately.
but if there are no options publicly at like a club type
Yes.
thing, there's always something going on underground.
Like house parties and that
Yes.
kind of thing. Yeah.
And you kind of just have to find the
Yes.
community that can kind of bring you into that
Yes. I
space.
feel like some of like, the obvious places that you'll find like big public clubs are, LA or New
Yeah.
York or
Yeah.
Florida or Texas. Honestly, most major cities.
Yeah.
But there's also some surprising cities that don't have a public
Yeah.
one.
Which we found we're like, really? There's a lot of kinky people here.
Yeah,
What?
but there's always a scene. It's just, oh,
Yeah.
okay, so they have to just do it privately, not
Yeah.
publicly, which,
Exactly.
okay, whatever.
And some of those you can find on like a Reddit
Yes.
or what's FetLife, or
Mm-hmm.
there's like a number of,
Field.
yeah, Field.
Yes.
There's a number of different places that you can kind of look to see what the community is like in your area.
And
But
as you build a community, a lot of the time they're like, "Oh yeah, this is
yeah.
a friend of mine in this
Yes.
city or a friend of a friend. Talk to them." And like maybe it's not like
Yeah.
a ringing endorsement, but it's a starting point to do your own
Yeah.
research.
But when you get to these places, things that we think have been really good green flags are, we love when there's like the ability for leadership to do some kind of consent talk before the night begins.
Absolutely.
We've been at places where that's not the case, and it's just kind of like a orientation with consent talking at you about things.
Which is certainly way better than nothing.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean that it's a red flag if that's what they do, but
yeah,
it's an extra feeling of comfort when they spend 5-10 minutes explicitly
yeah,
explaining, okay, but what does an enthusiastic yes look like,
yes.
et cetera, et cetera.
And a maybe is a no. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of things that people can be talking about in those consent talks
Yes.
where you may not have thought about consent that way. And so if you've
Yes.
never heard that before, it can kind of open up your eyes to what is this supposed to be looking like? How am I supposed to act in these spaces?
Hmm.
I've always found that places where there's not that enthusiastic consent talk to gather the whole group before play starts that evening is where I've had most harassment happen.
Mm.
So if it's just like you walk into a club and everybody's already doing their thing and it's not like a party at a place. So you just kind of walk in and get the orientation, and there's some kind of consent that's talked about, but it's not a whole group coming together as a community to do that consent talk.
Hmm.
There's more like unwanted touching, unwanted, cat call. Like there's other things that I'm just like, I wouldn't do it like that. That's not like a way that most of our
Yeah.
community places would do, uh, you know,
I guess the way that I would put it
interactions.
is it's not a red flag if they, when they first approve your membership,
Yeah.
discuss consent instead of every single party. But it's definitely an extra green
Yes.
flag if there's like a reminder every
Yeah.
single party, if
Exactly.
that makes sense. So I don't
Yeah.
want to like scare people
No,
like,
no, no.
oh no, am I in a like toxic club because they only went over consent when I signed up? Like, no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be like feeling an extra level of security.
Mhm.
Um, for me, as the you know protector role by necessity, um, something that's important to me is knowing that if there's a problem where somebody
Yes.
touches Poppy without permission or
Mhm.
is pressuring her when she said no thank you and is trying to like convince her when she said no thank you instead of immediately taking that for an answer,
Yeah.
which is what you should do. If there is some sort of a problem like that where somebody's doing something that's kind of like a gray area inappropriate, I want to know that the club leadership will have my back if I tell the guy to knock it off
Or
and
girl.
to get lost. Honestly, you're not wrong. As
It's actually been worse with women in some places.
yes, which I guess is understandable because it doesn't occur to women that they could be a physical threat.
Mhm.
But that doesn't make it okay to not get
No.
consent before touching and
Yeah.
etc. either.
Yeah.
Um, our personal experience, and I don't mean to stereotype, but our personal experience has been that older women tend to be the worst at respecting consent,
Yeah.
even worse than the stereotypical single guys, which is what everybody thinks is the problem. And they certainly can be in some cases,
Hmm.
but I personally have seen many more problems from older women because it doesn't occur to them. They grew up in an era where that wasn't a serious priority,
Right.
and it doesn't occur to them that anybody could be threatened by them. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
And that might just be our experience. Like it may
oh,
just be in
100%.
the places that
100%.
we're running.
The point is that
Yeah.
it's everybody, no matter
Yes.
what your age, what your gender, you always make sure that your interaction of whatever variety is enthusiastically
Hmm.
welcomed before you do it.
Yeah.
And that's
I
very easy to do. It's silly when people act like it's, well, how do you even do that without it being awkward and ruining the
yeah.
vibe? Listen, if you think that it ruins the vibe to get consent, then you've just got no game and you need to go back to the drawing board. I have never had even the slightest trouble
No.
with dealing with that.
Yeah.
So that's a you problem, bro.
I think another green flag is when there are guardians in a space.
Oh, right. If there's
Um,
no like guardians of any of
yeah.
tribe, that would be a huge red
Yeah.
flag.
So if you're in a place and there are, like, even if they haven't done the big consent talk or
Yes.
whatever, there should be at least some kind of leadership walking around
Right.
and monitoring the spaces, the play
Yes.
spaces. A lot of times these people are signified with either like light bands on
Hmm.
their arms, or they have some kind of distinctive outfit on or something.
Yes.
But those people will be walking around and watching and making
Yes.
sure that consent is being maintained, and
And if
that
there's a problem, you can
yeah,
get a hold of them.
you can get a hold of them quickly, and they're present and usually on what we call duty. So if you're
Yes. So
working,
they're not playing
they're
if they're
not
on duty.
playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be a
Right.
mixing of those boundaries where somebody should be monitoring a space and now they're falling into playing with somebody.
And I mean, a
Um,
lot of the time they will go in shifts where
yeah,
when their shift's over, then they can play,
yeah,
but then somebody else should
yeah,
be taking over. And of course, that's more for like a larger
yeah,
event that might have a couple hundred people at it in a
yeah,
bigger club. If it's like a smaller house party, it might just be the host kind of keeping an eye on
yeah.
things, and you can call them if you have a problem. But if it's a one room or whatever event, that's different from a big building.
I may or may not have just gone against the thing I was saying by grabbing a bunch of really short kisses from many guardians over my time in play
Well,
spaces.
that's just to be like a quick little peck
Why
in
are you
passing.
working?
Yes, that's just being friendly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like a huge thing for me, is just like knowing that there's people in the space that are watching it and making sure that
Yes, if there was a
there's
problem, yes,
exactly.
which
Yeah.
usually means that there's not
Yeah.
because they have a culture of
Exactly.
respect and consent and safety.
Yeah. What else?
I think those are a lot of the big ones. Like I said, don't take everything that we're saying as like a one size fits all guide because it really does depend on how big of a building
Yeah.
or how big of a party are we talking about? Is it a one room or a 10 room
Yeah.
type location? Is it 5 people or 300 people?
Right.
Like a lot of this just depends. And a lot of it is just it depends on the vibe, the culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's how are they vetting people? Are they vetting people? If not, what are they doing to
Yeah.
watch them very closely to make sure that they are following the rules? Even if they are vetting them, what are they doing to make sure that they have not forgotten the rules,
Yeah.
that they are, not overindulging in alcohol or whatever,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. Um, but if you guys have others that you keep in mind that you find are good red flags or green flags to keep in mind, then please feel free to send those on and we will be happy to discuss as well. But anyway, does that mostly cover it?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm trying to think of other things that we've really liked. I think vetting process is important. I think that's something that not all places do, and you can kind of
Yeah.
just buy a ticket and get in.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case and that's the only place that you have access to, be more cautious because
Yeah.
there's not some kind of like vetting. I know this person and this person vouches for me.
Yeah.
There's not an interview when you're being given membership. Like those things are things that we've found as
Yeah.
important when we're
Agreed.
looking at places to become members.
And again, I wouldn't say that not having a vetting process or an interview process is a big red flag, but
No.
I would say that if they do have one, that's a green flag.
Yes, agree.
I understand that not everybody has the budget, manpower, capacity, whatever, to do
Mhm.
as much as they would like to, and they're just doing the best that they
Yeah,
can.
very
But
much true.
it does mean that you then have to be more careful.
Yes.
Not that you shouldn't be careful regardless,
Yeah.
but more careful if you're the one who's doing your own vetting and don't have them to
Mhm.
assist with weeding out some of the problems.
Yep. I think
Um,
another green flag for me is in the consent talks or just like the culture of a place being able to talk about STI status
like
or like
reminding
being
people to
yes and
communicate,
being
yes.
encouraged to talk about STI status before you play with a person.
And just basic stuff like obviously people should know that they should use protection,
Yeah.
unless there's a specific
Yeah.
negotiation to, be exclusive in some capacity
Yeah.
and exchange test results and what have you.
Hmm.
But just like basic stuff like, mouthwash, hand
Yeah.
washing, like that stuff that can be easy to forget in the heat of the moment, but is also important just
Hmm.
to make sure that we are all taking care of each
Yeah.
other's health.
The places that we gravitate towards also usually have like a cart with a number of different things on it.
Mm-hmm.
So mouthwash, hand sanitizer, pads for us squirters, condoms, lube, like all the things that you think you might need in a space when you're playing to have it be safe. Some places have dental dams also. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, is this a clean place? Is it sticky? Is
Yes,
it, like
that honestly is true. Like if we go to a place where you can just tell like the bedding is grimy and
yeah.
like it smells weird, like that's not a place that we're gonna want to go back to. Like
Yeah.
hygiene if is not just about the individual, it's about the venue, the
Yeah.
location as well. So
Yeah, I don't do well in sticky places for very long.
not if it was pre-sticky before we
No.
got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
That should go on a t-shirt.
And that's part of being a good guest when you go
Yeah.
to a place is
Yes.
clean up after
Clean up
yourself.
after
Don't
yourself. Yeah.
make it all be the job of the event staff.
Yeah.
Like we're probably going to make a mess, but we're going to clean up after
Yes,
ourselves, and
exactly.
that's part of making it a sustainable event for everybody to enjoy
Absolutely.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's a good list of things to start with.
Agreed. And like I said, please feel free to add more. I'm sure there's plenty that we didn't remember to mention this time, but we would love to hear from you as well. Anything else that you wanted to talk about today, Poppy?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we will be back very soon. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate every one of you.
Hmm.
If you want to stay in touch, we are most accessible on Substack and Patreon if you look for Jack and Poppy's Life. Whether you are a free supporter or a subscriber, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Hmm.
With that said, I'm Jack,
And I'm Poppy.
and we will see you all next time.